Hi, my name is Jeanette and I want to thank you for joining me on the channel Jane Reads. So today I am doing the second version of the telephone book tag. I was recently tagged by Melanie Kilsby to do this tag, and I'd already filmed my other one, and I thought, well, okay, as I mentioned in the previous one, I had a really hard time coming up with the books. But I thought, well, depending what, I'll watch the video, see what book she ends up with, and see if I can tie some books together. And I did not rope my husband into this one this time because he was at work while I saw this video. And I thought, well, if I can find 10 books by myself, then why not film a second one? So there are some books, I did it, and like a record, I was able to come up with these books within like kind of half an hour, which is just amazing. But there are some where I kind of really stretched it a little bit, I think. But so forgive me for that. Or maybe you can kind of see where I'm going with it. Okay, so the book that she tagged me with was To the Best Boys by Mary Weber. So this is kind of a green background with 4 words going straight down. I could not find, now that I look at my stack and I say that, I'm like, oh, maybe I should have started with that book. Oh well. I couldn't find any green books, or I thought I couldn't find any green books. I guess we'll find out. So I decided to go with the 4 words down instead. So this is Another Day, Another Dolly. This is by Sandra Orchard, and it is part of the Serena Jones mystery series. And I think this is book 2 of the series. So I have not read this series yet. This is another book that my mother gave me. She read it, really enjoyed it, so said, you need to read it. So it's on my shelf to read. So what I took from this cover, because there's not a ton on this cover, there's the red, the person, so that he's holding picture frames. I'm assuming this is an art theft, just from the front. And so I took the picture frames and matched it to this one, which is kind of all picture frames. So this is Ulterior Motive by Terry Blackstock. Sorry for the glare. And so this one is book 3 of her Suncoast Chronicles series. I have read this one. I think I've read this book twice. I initially read it quite a few years ago. I was kind of really on a Terry Blackstock kick and reading through all her books. And I own a lot of them. And then I reread it probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and I've really enjoyed it. Terry Blackstock really keeps my interest in her suspense mysteries. So for this cover, it's really hard to see, but I took the farmhouse here, okay, and mashed it with the farmhouse on this one. This is Love Finds You in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania by Annalise Daugherty, not sure. I read this one a few years ago. I had picked it up at a local thrift store, and I read it, and it was okay. Like, I mean, it's on my shelf, so I kept it. I must have enjoyed it. It is a romance story. If I remember correctly, it's kind of an Amish. Yes, it says on the back that it's an Amish base. So I really enjoyed that. Okay, this is where I kind of really stretched. So this is a carriage going down the road. So I took the wheels from the carriage and matched it to the wheels on the bike. As I said, I stretched. Okay. So this is Vanishing Act by Liz Johnson. I read this one earlier this year, and I think in February. So it is included in my February wrap-up video. think it's February. I'm pretty sure it's February. This one originally came out in August 2010, and when I read it this year, it was my second time reading it. And again, I like Liz Johnson's writings. I didn't enjoy this one as much the second time as I did the first time, but it could be because I kind of knew the story more this time, right? Because I'd already read it. But I like these love-inspired suspense books. The next two are both love-inspired suspense books. They start off with action right at the beginning and basically keep you invested the whole way through. There's not a lot of wasted extra added to the book. So for this one, I took the backpack. So there's a backpack here. So I took that and tied it to the backpack on this one. So this is Calculated Revenge by Jill Elizabeth Nelson. This one came out in April 2010. So this is the one that I was saying, oh, I guess I did have a green book. Oh well. So this one is another love-inspired suspense. I remember really enjoying this one, and this one encouraged me to pick up more books by Jill Elizabeth Nelson. So then for this one, I took kind of the swings on the swing set, and mashed it to the playground on this one. Again, I said I'm kind of stretching things a little bit, maybe. So this is Agent Undercover by Lynette Eason. Lynette Eason is another one of my favorite authors. I have read majority of her books. This one came out in August 2011, and it is another suspense book, obviously. I remember really enjoying this one, and it is a mystery, right? Where, yeah, I want to say a little boy goes missing, but I don't think that's right. No, somebody is trying to kill the little boy. So I really enjoyed this one. So this one I took, there's a building in the background. I'm pretty sure that's like a courthouse or something, but I don't know how well you can see that. So there's this building with this steeple on top. Okay. So I took that and mashed it to this one that has a building with a steeple on top. So this is Higher Hope by Robert Whitlow. This is book 2 of his Tides of Truth series. This says general fiction. This features a lawyer. And so it is a law clerk and a preacher. Basically, the law clerk has been hired to investigate a preacher that a case is being brought against him. So I remember really enjoying this book. Again, Robert Whitlow is one of my favorite authors. So, yeah, I don't have a lot to say. So for this one, I took kind of the reddish background and mashed it with the kind of red on this one. This is another Terry Blackstock book. It is Twisted Innocence. It is part of her Moonlighter series. I think this is book 2 also. That's funny. I picked so many book 2s. So it is another suspense book where a single mother is trying to protect her baby, but her past is starting to catch up with her. And the police come looking for the baby's father in relation to drug charges. And can Holly protect her baby? Yeah. It's another one that I really enjoyed. So then I took, there's kind of it's raining, obviously, okay? So I mashed that with the rain on this one. Sorry, I'm dropping all these books. So I don't know how well you can see that, but there's like little raindrops on here. Okay, so this is The Sound of Rain by Sarah Loudon Thomas. I don't know if I said her name right. This is another book that my mother recently gave me and said, I really enjoyed this. I think you will. It is a historical fiction. I don't know anything about this book. I didn't even recognize the author's name when she gave it to me. So we'll see. I'm basically going to go in blind for this one. So for this one, I took on the face here, you could really only see her cheek and her ear. So I matched it with this one, where it's the cheek and the ear, the face. So this is book number 1 in Terry Blackstock's If I Run series. This one is If I Run. This is probably her most well-known series recently. This one came out in 2017, I want to say. And this series, the whole series, is amazing. Amazing. It hooks you, and there's 3 books in the series, and it carries over into each book. And it's not, personally for me, it is not a series you can read book 1, wait a while, then pick up book 2, and then, a year later pick up book 3. No. You have to read them back to back, because each book leaves you hanging. Like, what's going to happen next? Is she going to get caught? Is the real killer going to be brought to justice? What is going to happen? This was an amazing book. I absolutely loved it. And I mean, the whole series is just great. So this is book 10. Now, I am not going to tag anybody for this video, because I did tag somebody in the last telephone tag video I did, and majority of people that I watch have now done it. So this is my last book. If you want to do this tag and haven't done it already, this would be the book you start with. So I hope you enjoy, and thank you. Have a good day. Bye.